the cycling world just witnessed what might be the most calculated power display in recent Grand Tour history. But was it pure dominance? Or simply a case of weak opposition crumbling under pressure? Jonas Vingegaard has essentially locked up his inaugural Vuelta a España title after delivering a masterclass performance on stage 20, leaving his competitors gasping for air on the punishing slopes of Bola del Mundo. The 28-year-old Danish sensation from Team Visma, Lease bike, didn't just win the stage, he demolished any remaining hopes his rivals might have harbored about stealing the red jersey. But here's where it gets controversial. Did Vingegaard truly prove his superiority, or did his main challengers simply fail to rise to the occasion when it mattered most? With teammate Sepp Kuss claiming an impressive runner-up position, the Dutch squad's tactical superiority was on full display. Unless disaster strikes during tomorrow's ceremonial final stage into Madrid, Vingegaard will celebrate his first-ever Spanish Grand Tour triumph, a victory that some critics argue came easier than it should have for a rider of his caliber. Today felt like the perfect moment to put an exclamation point on 3 weeks of incredible teamwork. Vingegaard reflected after his commanding performance. "My legs felt significantly stronger compared to the mountain battles we fought over the past week. Being able to deliver this result as a reward for my teammates' relentless dedication, not just today but throughout this entire 3-week journey, means everything to me. I sensed the opportunity was there for the taking today. When I launched my decisive move, I knew the timing was right, even though those final kilometers tested every fiber in my body. My focus now shifts to navigating tomorrow's stage safely and rolling into Madrid still wearing this precious red jersey." For cycling newcomers, let me break down what happened. The Vuelta a España is one of cycling's 3 most prestigious races, alongside the Tour de France and Giro d'Italia, and winning any Grand Tour represents the pinnacle of professional cycling achievement. The red jersey signifies the overall race leader. And after nearly 3 weeks of brutal racing across Spain's most challenging terrain, Vingegaard sits in the commanding position, as riders prepared for what many considered their final realistic opportunity to challenge Vingegaard before Madrid's celebratory finale. The stage presented a daunting 165-kilometer gauntlet, culminating with the fearsome Bola del Mundo ascent, a climb so severe it earned the horse category classification, cycling's equivalent of beyond categorization due to its extreme difficulty. The day's narrative unfolded predictably at first, with a substantial group of riders attempting an early escape, a common tactical pattern where non-contenders try to stay ahead of the main field for stage glory. However, the peloton, led by teams still harboring hopes of overall victory, refused to grant these breakaway artists sufficient breathing room. As the race approached the base of the final climb, the gap evaporated like morning mist. And this is the part most people miss. Team Visma Lease bike had orchestrated a numerical advantage in the elite group of overall contenders, a tactical masterpiece that would prove decisive. Among their weapons were Ben Toulet and the birthday boy Kuss, who is celebrating his 31st birthday, while demonstrating remarkable climbing form. When the gradient of Bola del Mundo began inflicting its trademark punishment, João Almeida of UAE Team Emirates fired the opening salvo. The Portuguese climber, who started the day trailing Vingegaard by a manageable 44 seconds, clearly believed this represented his final realistic chance to steal the overall victory. But here's where Vingegaard's race intelligence shone brightest. Rather than panic or respond immediately, he absorbed the initial attack and then countered with devastating precision. In the stage's brutal final kilometer, where gradients reached punishing double-digit percentages, Vingegaard rode solo to this 3rd stage victory of this Vuelta, effectively sealing his maiden Spanish Grand Tour triumph. The image of him grinding through those final meters with no one else in sight will likely become an iconic moment in his career. What we experienced today perfectly captured both the brutality and beauty that makes Grand Tour racing so compelling, explained Kuss, whose second-place finish capped off his birthday celebrations in style. UAE Team Emirates certainly brought their A-game today. They threw everything they had at us, but our preparation and tactical execution were spot on. Starting that final climb with 5 riders and the select group of favorites created the ideal scenario for us. Every single team member contributed something special to make this moment possible. Watching Jonas deliver that knockout punch at precisely the right moment was nothing short of spectacular. But here's the question that's dividing cycling fans worldwide. Does this victory truly establish Vingegaard as cycling's next superstar? Or does it simply highlight how the current generation of Grand Tour contenders lacks the killer instinct of previous eras? Some argue that legendary champions like Alberto Contador or Chris Froome would never have allowed such a comfortable victory margin to develop. What's your take on this performance? Did Vingegaard prove he's ready to dominate cycling's biggest stages for years to come? Or did his rival simply hand him a victory through tactical naivety and physical weakness? And perhaps more controversially, does winning your first Grand Tour with such apparent ease actually diminish the achievement, or does it signal the arrival of a truly special talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I have a feeling this debate is just getting started.